What's good, guys? It's your boy DB back with another Marvel Future Revolution video. I did the first one, I think, yesterday, maybe the day before that. I'm not quite sure. It wasn't that long ago, but basically I showed you how to get the game installed on Bluestacks, which is probably the most widely used emulator. Because the problem is it doesn't run on 32-bit emulators, which is kind of the default setting, and there are a lot of phones that just don't support this game yet. It's a very high-end game. It's quite impressive, in fact, that this even runs on mobiles. I don't think it'll be all that long before we see some sort of PC port, PC app that we can actually just run it directly through. That said, I have since been playing it quite a bit on Bluestacks, and I'm just not overly impressed with the performance. I've got a pretty decent PC. I wouldn't say it's top end, but it's up there, you know. I run a Ryzen 3600. I'm on an X570 chipset graphic motherboard. I've got 32 gig of 3600 megahertz RAM. I'm on a 1660 Super, which is, you know, it's not a great card, but it's far from a bad card. And I'm having difficulty running the game stably, quite frankly. It's a little bit choppy. I've got some comparisons for you guys. And that's even on the absolute lowest possible settings I've tried that on. So it actually runs the game a little bit worse than my dated phone, which isn't right. Clearly Bluestacks isn't very optimal for it, because there are other people saying exactly the same thing, despite having the likes of an Nvidia 3080 graphics card, which is quite frankly one of the most ridiculously powerful graphics cards on the market. So there's no reason it should be remotely choppy on that, other than the fact it's just not very optimized. That said, there is an emulator out there that runs this far more stable, despite much higher settings on exactly the same PC. And I'm going to show you that one now. This is the one I actually recommend you're going to use. I'm going to show you roughly, you know, the ways of getting it set up. It's very, very simple. If we just switch tab right now, here we are. We're on the this is called the LD player. For this one, you don't want to click this button right here. This will install the 32-bit option. So when you go to the store, Marvel Future Revolution will not be there. What you have to do is look right here, and unfortunately on this screen you won't even see it. I didn't even notice it first time, but here it is, Android 64-bit version. That's the one you've got to click. I've got an affiliate link which you'll see in the pinned comment and in the description box, so if you want to support my channel without paying a single cent, please click that link and support me. You want to click that one, get it installed. Once it's installed, it'll look like this. This is a 64-bit version. You can't quite see it because I actually have it cropped, but at the top it'll say LD player, and in brackets it'll say 64, so you know exactly which bit you're running. From there, you're simply going to click on the LD store. It's a very simple installation. Just go with the bog standard. You don't have to do anything custom whatsoever. This brings up their own store. If the game isn't on show, which it probably isn't for me because I have it installed already, but it was here previously, then simply just go up here and type it in, or as you can see, it's actually just popped up right here just behind my webcam. So you could click that. You'll hit open or install or whatever's there, and it'll bring up the Google Play Store as it would on any other emulator or mobile device, at which point I assume you're probably already set up your settings and you're signed in on your Gmail account and you're ready to go. If you've already started on Bluestacks like I had, it's the same thing. Just go through the same process with the same Gmail and click on the same server. You know, I'm on Asgard 4 if you wish to join me on there, but click the same server and you'll continue your game. You won't have to restart and go through that 30+ minute tutorial that we go through. But yeah, that's how it is. Once you get the game booted up, it will be significantly better than it is on Bluestacks. My current settings are just bog standard. I've just got it on tablet. I've got it on the 1600, 900, 240. 4 cores. I've got 6 gig of RAM dedicated to it. This is just all the standard settings. I haven't tweaked anything in here yet. I probably will at some point. I'll probably move up to 1080p, increase the DPI and such. Current model, I've just got it on bog standard standard Samsung. I haven't had to do anything there. Frame rate, I've just got it on 60. I haven't had to do anything there. It's all really quite simple, whereas on Bluestacks, I had to fiddle around with a lot of things. I had to change the phone model. I had to change a lot of settings to get it to work, and then it wouldn't work on a certain OpenGL, and I had to fiddle around with a few more things. You don't have to do that on LD Player. It just runs. It's great. So I highly recommend checking this one out. Just click on my click on the affiliate link that I've put in the pinned comment and the description, and give this one a go. I think from what I've seen, I've tried this on a few emulators, and LD Player seems by far the most optimized for this game. So I get a feeling it's gonna gain a lot of traction and get very, very busy on this. I'll show you the comparisons now. Okay, up on screen right now, you'll be seeing what it looks like on Bluestacks 5, despite the fact it's on the absolute bare minimum settings. I had to turn this down to the lowest graphics. I had to turn all the shadows and sort of things onto just me only, so other people couldn't see that. They couldn't see the animations. I had to put the frame rate, I think the frame rate's on medium, because I was at least trying to get 30 frames, and it was just not remaining stable no matter what I did. There was so much choppiness even on stream. People were pointing it out, and this is, you know, I can run 60 frames on Warzone on high settings and games like that. Witcher 3, no problem. All these games I have no issues on, but I'm strangely having issues on this game on Bluestacks. However, when we check out this is how it looks over on LD Player, despite the fact it's on nearly all of the highest settings. All the shadows are up on maximum. The graphic clarity and stuff is on the second highest one. It's on high instead of very high. And yet you can see how much smoother it's running. I get a consistent 28-30 frames with no issues whatsoever, despite the kind of animations and craziness that's going on the screen. It's also worth noting that the default settings to use a gamepad, I actually play this on LD with my Xbox 360 wired pad on my PC, and the default settings are just incredibly smooth and very, very simple. I found, however, on Bluestacks that they had a habit of just randomly stopping working at times, being clunky, and I'd have to quickly grab the mouse or press something on the keyboard. I didn't have any of those issues on LD, and I haven't had to customize any of the button controls or anything. They literally show on screen. They're really stable. They're very, very responsive. It just really does tick all the boxes. I was very, very impressed. So yeah, as you can see, it's clearly much, much better performing. It's exactly the same PC. I've not tweaked anything. My overclock settings are exactly the same. You're going to get a much, much better performance on the LD Player. Now, I do want to address one other thing. I had a couple of questions relating to this subject. A few people had, they booted up. They haven't previously played the likes of Galaxy Heroes or Marvel Strike Force, so they don't have this already enabled. But they're booting up the emulators. They're getting the game installed, and they're going to play, and it's saying that their virtualization is not enabled, and they need to do this, and they don't know how. Well, it's very, very simple. You just go into your BIOS settings, and if you're on an Intel CPU, it'll probably be called Intel VT. Let me check. There's a couple of other versions. Intel Virtualization Tech, VTX. There's a couple of things, but it'll be called one of those in your CPU settings. Just enable it. Just turn it on. Save. Let your PC boot back up, and it'll work perfectly. If you're on AMD like I am, it's usually called AMD V, and again, it's in the CPU settings. Just turn it on. It won't affect anything else. Do not panic. It won't affect any of your normal games. It won't affect anything. It only affects emulation. So if you run like a GameCube emulator, an Xbox emulator, a PlayStation emulator, or an Android one, you're probably going to have this on if you don't have it on already. Just be aware when you do flash your BIOS and whenever you do update them, it will regularly trip that and turn it back off, so you will have to turn it back on. Just remember that. But it really is that simple. That there's no like overclocking. That there's no manual settings that need to be done. It's a simple on-off option. So just switch that on, reboot, and that's it. It's that simple. It really is that simple, and you'll be playing this just as I am over on Asgard Force, so come and join me. I hope this video has helped you out. Any questions, drop them in the comments or jump into my Discord server. Again, the link will be in the pinned comment and the description, and I'll catch you next time. Really enjoying this game, guys, so there's going to be plenty more videos. Stay tuned. Till next time, we out of here.